Warner Brothers producer Charles Roven recently revealed that the plan for future WB superhero movies, let's say the DC movies, they're going to try to keep them all around PG-13 ratings, which I think is kind of a disservice to what we're looking for in Suicide Squad, which should be a decidedly darker story feature, because it's the same rating as maybe we would see from Captain America Civil War. These are not heroes. These are villains being forced to conduct acts that they are probably opposed to, and they've all committed atrocities. So I think it's a time, once again, that we consider maybe a new rating for the MPAA system that we currently have, because I think it's out of date. The last time it was updated was in the 1980s, and I think since current trends have showed us, it needs to be changed once again. But let's take a quick look at what those ratings are before we jump into why they need to be changed. So rated G is for general audiences, everyone admitted. PG, parental guidance suggested, some material may not be suitable for children. PG-13, this is the golden standard for blockbusters. Parents strongly caution, some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Rated R, restricted, under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. NC-17, no one under 17 admitted, and usually NC-17 is not in most theaters at all. So basically the gold standard for movies that want to become blockbusters and juggernauts and make a lot of money is to aim for PG-13, and that has a very specific set of standards. So usually you only, specifically on sexual situations and swearing, but usually, oddly enough, violence gets to be skyrocketed through the roof as long as there's minimal blood.
If you haven't seen the documentary, This Film Is Not Yet Rated, I would highly recommend that. It's about the MPAA and how there really isn't very much oversight on the MPAA. And so big studio movies are going to get better, more desirable ratings than indie films, and there's a whole host of really subjective criteria that they have that they don't even really publish or make known, and as you said, violence gets a pass, while sexual situations and language, if they drop too many F-bombs, then that's grounds for making it pretty much commercially non-viable by making it R or NC-17, and also LGBTQ scenarios give it higher ratings as well.
If there's a same-sex kiss, that is considered more risque or needing to be censored. There are many ways for this to go wrong. The MPAA was set up basically so that Hollywood would be able to regulate itself. So, this goes back to the Hays Code, which is, by the way, a terrible idea of pretty much the morality police deciding what's appropriate and what's not, or rather, what gets to make money and what doesn't. So as you said, indie films typically get pushed into the margins, into the R rating, and then typically don't make that much money, which is a shame for some movies like, let's say, Boyhood, which would be a wonderful movie for maybe a teenager to watch and maybe learn more about themselves over. They're never going to experience this because they're not going to go see a movie with their parents. I would also like to point out, these are not laws. These are suggestions. So theaters can enforce them to their discretion, but it's not against the law for a 16-year-old to go to an R-rated movie. Don't think that.
So this one article that we read, it suggests the addition of the T14 rating, right? What did you think about that?
I'm not sure if we need to regulate the MPAA's rating system, which shows heavy favoritism and disadvantages other smaller, less, I would say, wealthy groups. But their idea is to add in another rating. I don't know if that would change the system, though, because the system itself seems to be incurably broken.
I agree. I agree that I don't think it's that we need another rating. I think that we need to reevaluate how we rate movies in this country. Just have some more oversight with the MPAA. Make it more permissive for independent movies and for sexual content. I think needs to be reevaluated because where there are puritanical roots, they tend to go way heavy-handed with
I don't need you to be the morality police for me. And also, I'm not suggesting any causation or correlation to real-world events, but if we're going to be more okay with something, I think it's way more okay to be all right with swear words and sex, which happen in everyone's life, as opposed to extreme violence. And again, I'm not saying one causes the other, but why are we so okay with blowing people up or suggesting people have been tortured? And then it's like if someone, has sex, it's just the worst thing. Or someone drops an F-bomb, it's just, oh no, this is unacceptable.
Even having more adult and complex themes, like you were talking about Suicide Squad, just the fact that it is kind of glorifying these people who we want to tell our children are bad might make us think about it differently when you're giving it a rating.
Well, I think my point there was that toning it down does a disservice to the story. It could be a really cool, really stark story and a deep contrast to what we've been seeing in trends in superhero movies, but instead we're getting this. And that brings up another point which I had, which is that if we're trying so hard to cram all these movies into whatever loose guidelines are to make PG-13, we're going to end up with a very homogenized, boring sort of film that everyone can consume and everyone will consume. But what is the point of film? Shouldn't we be learning things? Shouldn't we be opening our minds? Shouldn't we be looking at things that maybe we hadn't thought of before? I think it does the art a disservice.
I think they do need to reevaluate how they classify movies.
Mm-hmm. I think for sure. Audience, what do you think? What is the logical step to fixing the MPAA rating problem? Let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.